Hello everyone, how's it going today? Welcome back for some more LEGO Wednesday. This time we are boldly going where no brick has gone before with the Enterprise D, which is of course in a very big box, as you can tell. But before we do that, we have the Type 15 Shuttle Pod, which was a gift with purchase that came with it. Big box is big, yes. Although, I have bigger. What about ABC? Well, and then there's also just the NC-1701, 1701 with no appellation. I'm hoping that they do at least an A. No, the interior is not modeled. It is not a playset. It's not about the size of the box, it's about how it's assembled. Alright, let's actually go over to that. We'll open the big box in a few minutes, once we're done with this one. But I've heard that this gift with purchase is going for quite a bit these days. Yeah, the C only got to be seen once. Although we've seen others of its model type. Alright, and it seems kind of fitting that this one comes with a character who was kind of outside of the rest of the characters. Rolaren. Kind of stood apart. Alright, let's see. Going right into it, no preamble on this one. Kind of want E, to be honest. You adore that ship design. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that either. Finally reached 100,000 hams. So many hams. I am full of so many hams today, actually. So there is Rolaren with the outfit. I heard some people complaining that there weren't rank pips, but I understand. We do actually have her earring printed on the side. She's got double printed face as well. Xanderific coming on in. How's it going? Let me get you a shout out once I actually grab my slider there. Yep, it is. Alright, let me get you that shout-out, if I can actually type properly. There we go. What were you up to today? We were building the Type 15 shuttle pod that was a gift with purchase with the Enterprise. And then we're going to actually start on the Enterprise afterwards. Doing some writing on an original TTRPG. Nice. I hope that went well. You prefer the Type 25? I think you prefer the Type 666, sir. This is definitely a set that they could have marketed separately, and it would have sold really well. I do wonder if they have, if the license does allow for collectible minifigs. I kind of doubt it, although I don't know that Star Trek action figures really sell today like Star Wars action figures do. So I don't know if there's that big of a competition for that. Think you need to go find your technical manual to see if it has shuttle info? You don't know any of those numbers? This is just like the standard early series shuttlecraft. I think they did replace it with one later. There was one episode after DS9 came out that they had an episode with a runabout, but I don't think those are standard on the Enterprise itself. Alright, let's see. So, that is going to be number 11. The Derridex class. I think this is actually from an episode with Geordi. Alright. Where they're phase cloaked, basically. There we go, get the control panel on there. And howdy, Kinshir, how's it going? Area High One, how are you? Derridex class Warbird, aka the Bird Bus, because that thing has crappy turn rates. Most of the big ships in Star Trek do. One of my big complaints with a later, with one of the CGI Gundam series, is that they had the like Magellans and Salamis ships turning on a frickin' dime, and I'm like, pretty sure the G-forces on that would have been pretty horrendous. Where is the other one of those? There it is. Reminded of a long ago Christmas where you got an Optimus Prime and Dad put the stickers on using his knife. I had an Optimus, and then I left it on the trunk of a car and it drove off. Okay, I think we're working on like the back chunk of this. At least it wasn't a seagull. Well, I mean, the car has no thinking. The person couldn't see it, so it wasn't their fault. Whereas a seagull can think. Stupid seagull. Let's play some of the U.S.S. Hamtopia. Everything is better with ham, it's true. I've still not seen Avatar. Considering how many people seem to have seen that, I probably am one of the few. Been buying a few skirmish tabletops games, having fun? Excellent. I mean, I haven't had any real desire to see them, but considering how much money they make, it sure seems like the vast majority of people have, so. How about Kung Fu Panda? I have not seen that, no. I mean, for as much as people talk about them being overrated, they sure seem to make bank. Alright, and then another pair of these in the back. Different avatar. I haven't seen the TV show either. The unrelated TV show, we'll say. I do have some Lego sets from it, though. Many, many hams, indeed. Okay, so that goes right on there. Nope. That goes right there. Oh, wow. All right. Okay. No, I mean it's pretty common for sequels to not be as good. It's a fine line between doing the same thing but also like you want to do the same thing but not so same that it's just the same movie all over again, like Jaws 2. Because then that's just like, what's the point? But if it's too different, then you could, drive off the fans of the original, and the reason people loved the original may not be there anymore, kind of thing. So it's a very fine line. There is an exception to that where you just do something completely wildly different. I'm looking at you, Gremlins 2. Well, Halloween 3, they were trying to turn it into a non-connected franchise. It didn't do well, and so then they were like, oh, I guess we have to make it a connected franchise. And then you have all of this. Right, not a rogue AI, because, like, number one, it's doing something completely different, but with the same kind of thing, but also embracing the cheese and comedy from the original. I think they tried to do Gremlins 3 for a really long time, and then finally they just sort of like, just do whatever you want. You were successful with the first one. Just do whatever you want. And they was it Chris Columbus? I think it was. I might be mixing him up with someone else. Was like, well, I mean, if I can do whatever I want, then I'm gonna take the shit out of it. Joe Dante? I think it was Joe Dante. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Chris Columbus did something else. I forget what it was. I don't know what I was thinking of. Maybe he wrote it. Maybe that's it. Or I might just be hallucinating things. I don't know. Either is possible right now. I'm in a very weird state of mind, so... Yeah, I'm probably just hallucinating something. I'm probably thinking of something else, and mixing up names. That happens. That happens. All right, so we got our nacelle pods here. There we go. Have I eaten any Chat GPT engineers lately? Luckily, no. No. Although my stomach is acting up, so maybe I did, and I don't remember. Maybe I sleep ate. That's probably where my hallucination is coming from, not a rogue AI. Let's get a lot of brackets and a half tile on. Double round end plates. Almost a 46 in Soul Blazer? Well, heck. You're going to get there in at least another month or so. I think he's just doing it because he wants to, not a rogue AI. Which is a perfectly fine reason to do so. There we go. Very front of it in. Alright, these are a fun new multi-angle slope piece. I think they were debuted for the various F1 cars. Go. That in there. So that is a 5. I don't... Okay, so this is interesting in that I don't think there's anything else that really matches this slope, and I don't think there's anything else that really matches this wedge. Interesting. Because we have a 2x5 wedge, and this would typically be a 1x6 slope with a stud back there, and there isn't anything like that. Alright, so get that right there. Ald should stream more. It has occurred to me. It has occurred to me. Actually, looking at the height of that, a 1x5 slope wouldn't even match that. Weird. I'm surprised they did that. It doesn't really match system very well. Okay, there we go. Get that there. Okay, spare parts. We have a 1x1 tile slopes in dark gray, white, and bright yellow. 1x1 peak slope in white. Dark gray 1x1 cylinder plate. And red friction half pin. And bag number 2. I mean, if subscriptions and such continue to crater on YouTube, then I might have to try and force more growth out of Twitch. Not that I've had any real luck with that. trying to find other days to also stream on might help. So here we have a 1x3 brick with 3 holes, which is brand new. As far as I know. You don't like the shuttlecraft? They are too inelegant flying brick to you with only minor attempts to make them aerodynamic? Yeah, because aerodynamics is what's necessary in spaceflight. Got a 100% increase in twitch effectiveness, but that's relatively easy when your baseline is 1. They do use it a lot in atmosphere, but also it has a whole lot of features that kind of negate the need of aerodynamics. I love that they, the overall shape of it is basically taken straight into Spelljammer as the wreck boat. Find it interesting that near the end of the game in Soul Blazer, damage is almost a non-issue. What, you mean damage to you? Okay, that gets right there. Now do Illusion of Gaia, and let me know if the super boss is easy peasy. Because, oh my god, did I hate fighting that guy. It was basically just the first enemy from the first boss from Soul Blazer. There are a lot of round-end plates in here. They don't negate aerodynamics. The shape still creates a lot of drag, which makes the shuttle less efficient and lowers its possible speed and raises fuel usage as it brute forces itself through the ambient fluid. Yeah, but at the same time, it's entirely possible that the efficiency gain would be relatively minor. Besides, it's Star Trek. Half the stuff works the way it does because it looks cool. Okay, I think this is the top there. All right. I mean, but that's just a personal opinion. Do you dispute that it is an opinion? Do you claim that to be empirical fact? Also, am I supposed to be making 2 of these? Yes, I am. I am supposed to be making 2 of these. I missed that. The Jeffy's tubes, aka what all the little children on the Enterprise call them. Your favorite Soul Blazer bosses were Metal Mantis, first boss, and Poseidon, fourth boss. Metal Mantis is the one that shows up in Illusion of Gaia and is a real terrible, awful thing. Alright, so we got trans black panels here. Get that on there. And I like that they actually have, like, actual windows. That's pretty cool. I like that. Like, they could have just not done that. Just kind of faked it. But they didn't. Probably not very hard, Gilded Tongue. I mean, I don't know the novel, but we are close to 0. Okay, USS Enterprise. There we go. I have not read that. In reality, I have read very few classic novels. I have never been much for the classics, shall we say. There we go. Alright, USS Enterprise. And get that there. And that there. Okay, 1x2 right there. A 1x2 to 1x4 bracket there, and some 1x1s. You've been slowly trying to get the books the school's got kids to read? See, we never actually really read many of the classics in school. I don't know why. Two by two on top there. Let's go ahead and get that on. All right. Not going to fold them down yet. All right. Some scholars claim that novel is poking fun at the English department that English departments to try to make every story into deep philosophy. Oh god, I was listening to the If Books Could Kill podcast last night. They had a bit on Elon Musk's biography by Walter Isaacson, I think, from 2023. And there's a bit in there where apparently Elon Musk read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and thought it was deep philosophy. The whole thing with the answer to the meaning of life, the universe, and everything being 42. Douglas Adams literally just tried to think of the most ridiculous thing he could. And here's this schlub thinking that it's deep philosophy. Howdy, little bunny. How's it going? There, we get 1x2 round tops. As Freud said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. It does not, no. In fact, I think it's quite possible that money makes one stupid. At least above a certain point. Time to stoke the fires. Wookiee versus Klingon. Who wins? I think they'd both sit down to some delicious blood wine. After ripping the arms off a human. Or a droid. There we go. 1701-D. Adams literally thought, what is the most ridiculous number that I could use, and chose 42. Klingons have the patience for chess, yeah. Alright, so that is number 3. That is that one. Okay, and right in there. There we go. Alright, and then the other panel on the back. I think the funniest thing is that all an author has to do is put something out there, and the fan community will make it intellectual for the author. Not always the fan community, sometimes just other people in general, like English professors. Howdy, Valjerai, how's it going? There we go. No flannel for me? Oh, it is so flannel weather. It is the flannelist of flannel weather. There we go. Okay. Alright, so, spare parts. We have a 1x1, 1L beam in white, a black friction pin, and a white 1x1 plate as extra parts. And now, bag number 3. I've never heard of that show, Lord Canis. It's also snooze under warm blankets weather. Well, I don't really snooze. Do you mean, like, in the morning or during the day? I do have a lovely, comfortable Lego blanket that I use. Not right now, though. It's very warm. Morning? Late morning for you, at least? That's fair. That is fair. Alright, on the front. Oh, critical roll. Got it. Alright. Get up around 10, so to clock in at 11. I also get up around 10, actually. And I also sort of clock in at 11 when I'm recording. Okay, so here we get 1. There we go. And Onizuka. 5, specifically. There we go. Show does have a good example of a proper D&D wizard with spell components. I mean, you can have that in 2E. Okay, there we go. So this is going to act as a buffer for the hinges, the 1x2 plate. What, not a rogue AI? think there's a mouse in my ceiling. I hear you up there. Alright, another number 1. Oh, that's a critical role specific thing. Got it. Alright. Alright, and then the other Onizuka. So one of the other possible gifts with purchase that they considered was a transporter room that would act as a display stand for the minifigs. And that would have had Chief O'Brien. There we go. Okay, and a very, very simple front windshield. It is number 4. There we go. Now we just need to do the rear. Get the ship's butt. You're doubting the spaceworthiness of the shuttle seats? Or seals? Look, seals are very, very spaceworthy. It's a little known fact. A single tail light in the back. You know, I just realized that this thing does not have running lights. Should probably have running lights. Have I been throwing seals into space? Of course. They love it up there. That's where they do all their clubbing. I'm sorry, that was really terrible. Okay, and then right here. Get that. All right, let's see. 9. There we go. And 10. Oh, Gildatung. What are the dolphins gonna do? You know, chitter at me or something? Shh. Dolphins. It's not like they have spacefaring technology. There's the back panel. Alright, spare parts, white 1x1 tile, a trans red 1x1 plate, and gray robot arm. Alright, let's go ahead and get Ro into the pilot seat. Yes, not a rogue AI, I am aware. I am aware. I'm riffing on MST3K. There we go. It is very difficult to see in there. But this is a really, really nice gift with purchase. Well, I'm not riffing on them. It's a riff based on that. But yeah, this is really cute. They did a really nice job with this one. I hope we see more stuff like this. Like, a runabout at this scale would be pretty cool. Alright, let's go ahead and set that aside. Looks like it could be a mini classroom projector. Well, also, little known fact, you can play football with it. Think those windows are tinted illegally dark? I don't know that that applies to shuttlecraft. Probably just applies to cars. Alright. Cut the box open. There we go. I don't know if we really get to see their ground transportation very much. Alright, so there's the 20s, there's the 10s, there's 30, 10s, 20s, 20s, 20s. We do have an ad break starting soon. So this is a good time to be opening everything. Okay. Now for the inner box. If I can get it out. There we go. My scissors got buried. All right, there we go. Well, there's bag number 1. 7. 15. 5. 14. 11. 4. 8. Flex tubes. Loose flex tubes. Loose Technic bricks. 3. 2. 12. Instruction booklets. Actually, no, I'm going to need that. It's going to have stickers in it. 6. I should not have tossed it to the side. 10. And 9. Okay. Let me go get the instruction booklet. Hold on. Come on, cord. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna need that. Ah. I mean, I put stickers on things that I plan to keep together for a while, you know? Like, that's how it works. Okay. Let's put you here for now. Okay. So we only have 130. So that is going to be our last one. So let's see. Put you back there. There's 29. Oh, I mean, there's paper bags in there. It's 27, 26, 28. 27, 26, 25, 24, 23. Since 2 degrees Fahrenheit weather and Ald's area. Oh, we're going to get close to that. Don't worry. We kind of already have that. Potential for snow on Friday and Sunday. There's 20. Okay, 10, 12, 11, 14, 13, 15. There's 19. 18. 17, 16. Negative 10 degrees F. Basically never gonna get that. Okay, that's 15. 14. 13. 12. 11. And 10. Okay, so that box is full. Okay, so 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5. Let's put these aside. 4. 3. 2. And here is a number 1. All right, I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be using these anytime soon. I mean, wind chill getting that low, that can definitely happen. Not minus 75, no. There we go. All right. So, one of these is really quite bent in weird directions, but we're going to be curving them anyway. Where am I going to put these? Up there, perhaps. Don't let me forget they're up there. Because I know exactly, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. Alaska and Chile kind of go together. All right, switch on over to our Enterprise instruction booklet. Was along soon for those ads? Well, it happens. All right. Go ahead and get some of these open. I'm going to use my scissors on these now. Whoop. So that they don't shed as much. I think that is a wise decision on my part. Okay, that's everything. All right. Princess Linda and Cornflakes guy got a little bit moved around, so did Horse. There we go. All right, make sure that they're back in the proper place. Basically a winter hurricane, which your friend, of course, busted a tire in the middle of. All right. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. You have The Bridge. Set in the 24th century, Star Trek The Next Generation, 1987 to 1994, charted a bold new course in the Star Trek universe, all in the spirit of the original series. With Captain Jean-Luc Picard at the helm, the diverse crew aboard the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-D TM discovers extraordinary new worlds and faces legendary foes. I was always kind of annoyed that they didn't bring back the Andorians and the other early Federation races. As representatives for the United Federation of Planets, their goal is to promote and evolve peaceful diplomatic coexistence with civilizations everywhere. Through their hopeful vision of the future and innovative technology, the show, the Starship, and its crew have inspired generations of Star Trek fans. The first ever LEGO Star Trek model. As one of the longest-running sci-fi franchises on TV and in movies, Star Trek has earned its iconic status in the genre. Starship Enterprise models have always been fan-favorite collectibles. And for the first time ever, we are beyond excited to welcome this version of the LEGO Icons collection. Without further ado, boldly go as we present the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-D TM. You know what would probably sell really well as well? Is a Klingon Warbird. A star in Star Trek history. The USS Enterprise NCC-1701-D TM, Starfleet's Galaxy-class flagship, carries a legacy that spans centuries. In Star Trek history, it has always been a beacon of exploration and diplomacy. It is the 6th starship to bear the legendary name Enterprise on its hull, honoring a tradition dating back to old naval ships, and even the first space shuttle. Launched from Mars in 2363, it was fine-tuned at Earth Station McKinley before Captain Jean-Luc Picard took command. At least Alaska doesn't get as cold as Antarctica. That's true. That's true. Famous missions. Encounter at Farpoint, Parts 1 and 2. Its inaugural mission led the Enterprise D to the mysterious Farpoint station and the crew's first contact with the Q Continuum. The Inner Light. Rendered unconscious by an alien probe, Picard lives out a lifetime as Kamen, a native of the long-destroyed world of Catan, aka Settlers Up. Unification Parts 1 and 2. Picard and Data go undercover on Romulus after suspecting Ambassador Spock has gone rogue and defected to the Romulan Empire. All good things. In the series finale, the crew travels through time to prevent a cosmic anomaly, reflecting on past and future events to save humanity. Behind the scenes. The talented artist Andrew Probert was a TV series senior consulting illustrator who crafted the look of the USS Enterprise D. His futuristic vision reflected the imagined advancements in space travel a century after the events of the original series. Probert's sleek design featured a larger saucer section and repositioned warp nacelles closer to the ship's center of mass for balance. Series creator Gene Roddenberry tweaked the design slightly, including extending the nacelles and placing the bridge atop the saucer for scale. Specs. Construction. Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards. Length 2,103 feet, 641 meters. Decks 42. Crew complement 1,014, typical. Maximum warp 9.9. Armaments, phasers, and photon torpedoes. Engage. Aboard the USS Enterprise D, the crew, human as well as other species, organics and mechanical, is united in purpose in pursuit of knowledge, justice, and peace. Their unique backgrounds, passions, wit, and perspectives contribute to an environment where collaboration, curiosity, and respect can bridge any divide. The next generation envisions a future where equality and reason triumph, inspiring us to embrace differences and learn from one another for the good of all. Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. I'm superior, sir, in many ways, but I would gladly give it up to be human. Lieutenant Commander Data. With Spot. I'm Klingon. If you doubt it, a demonstration can be arranged. Lieutenant Worf. The unexpected is our normal routine. Commander William Riker. Would you like to talk about what's bothering you, or would you like to break some more furniture? Counselor Deanna Troi. It's a struggle that is important. That's what helps us define our place in the universe. Dr. Beverly Crusher. There's theory and then there's application. They don't always jibe. Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge. My name is Guinan. I tend bar and I listen. Guinan. This is all just beginning. We've only charted 19% of our galaxy. The rest is out there just waiting. Wesley Crusher. From the LEGO Icons design team. We wanted a model of a substantial size that could balance on a single display stand arm. The shape of the ship, the shape of the primary hull, the saucer section, was designed with angled panels that add density to the disc, and to get its overall shape right. We developed two new LEGO bow elements. The two warp engines connected to thin curved pylons, and the attachment of the detachable saucer disc was another challenge in terms of model stability, but the saucer separation function, although rarely used in the series, is such a key feature. We applied sideways building with plates, especially in the neck area, to achieve the right sturdiness. The original filming model is covered with windows, even on the underside. Here, they are printed on the saucer section's rim. And as a finishing touch, we paid special attention to the ship's navigation deflector to find the best look for the windshield element's geometry. Recreating a starship that means so much to generations of Star Trek fans in LEGO form was an exciting technical challenge. The LEGO Icons design team. How to hold the model. Okay, do not hold it on the edges or the nacelle. Hold it on the body and the center of the saucer section, apparently. You feel bad for the actor for Wesley? Yeah, I mean, like, actors should never get flack for the way their characters are written, unless they were the ones who did the writing, which is not usually the case. As the Enterprise's chief medical officer, Dr. Beverly Crusher always carries her medical tricorder with her. All right, there we go. I think this might be a relatively new hairpiece. I don't think I've seen that too often. All right, and then the tricorder print. That is apparently the top. Okay. Let's go ahead and zoom on in there. Here's the tricorder print. There's her hair. I wonder if LEGO gifted any of the actors the model. Alright, this is going to be the base. Where the stand for the minifigs, I should say. Like, I mean, if he is not a rogue AI, then he can get criticism for that, but he shouldn't get criticism for Wesley. That's not his fault. So we have lots of gray 3x4 half tiles. Like, you should always hate for proper things, not improper things. Alright. Let's go ahead and get the instruction booklet open so that we can get to the... Yeah, it really can. Okay. Surprisingly, not that many stickers. Is there another sticker sheet in here? No. Okay. Color me surprised. Let's see. 15. And this one had 11. So, 4 more stickers for the Enterprise compared to the shuttlecraft. Unfortunately, they did have a spelling error on this. Not sure if that's going to pick up or not. Yeah, that's not focused. Alright, so it says to boldly go. Not boldly. Boldly go. There is a... You can get a replacement sticker sheet, though, and I will probably do that. Enhance, enhance. No, you gotta bitmap it. Oops. 11. That one is this one. Not baldly. Boldy. B-O-L-D-Y. To Boldy go. Alright, and we get Crusher there on the bar. Alright, and then we begin the saucer section. The saucer section is where they keep all the booze. Not the saucer section, this is the main body. My bad. I'm silly. My brain, it sometimes does not work. Incidentally, I have finished recording for Golden Sun. So that will be, that series will be wrapping up very soon. And I need to start thinking about a replacement. Now you can play a Star Trek game. I mean, I could. It's true. I literally could. I think the only Star Trek game that I'd want to play is that point-and-click adventure game. The, with most of the original actors. You don't know what the other parts are called other than the nacelles and saucer section? Well, this is the body, the main body, I think. It's also where the combat deck is. Well, there you go, Lord Canis. I thought there was only one, so... I haven't really looked into it. It's been on my long, long list of, oh, this could be interesting to play one at some point kind of thing. Water hot, time for hot cocoa? But did you bring enough for everyone? Okay, I'm not looking for suggestions. Please, when I say that I need to think of a new game, do not take that as an opportunity to start lobbying for games, because that gets very tiresome. It's okay. It's just one of those things, like, it may not seem a lot coming from just you, but you gotta keep in mind that a bunch of other people are doing it too, so... I understand. There's a different... I don't mind jokes too much about it, but it does get a little bit overwhelming sometimes, so just keep that in mind. That's all. I don't want to, like, be, seem like I'm calling anyone out specifically. I just wanted to... I was worried that it was going to start going that way of everyone suggesting stuff, and I wanted to kind of head that off. That's all. Howdy, Rovaljax. How's the Enterprise built so far? Well, it's literally this, so... but we did build the shuttlecraft. This is very nice. This is really, really nice. Definitely S-tier gift with purchase. Like, even just, like, even if someone wasn't a Star Trek fan, I think it would be a fun build kind of thing. You're hoping I'll do a Tales game at some point so you can see what one of those is like? I've done 2 Tales games. Tales of Destiny and Tales of Vesperia. You mean another Tales game? Can the gift with purchase be recolored to one of the original space factions and still look good? One of the original space factions? I don't know if all the pieces exist. These 2 pieces would probably be the hardest ones. Most of the others probably do exist in other colors. I knew these are black. Yeah, Tales of Vesperia and Tales of Destiny. Those are the ones that I've done. I would say that Tales of Vesperia is very much like all the other, like, PS2 era and beyond, and Tales of Destiny is very much like SNES, PS1, handheld. Tales of Fantasia was the first one for the SNES. It was never released here. It's one of the 2 games that had the largest cartridge size, I believe. The 6 meg cartridge, and a lot of that was dedicated to the opening song, the vocal song. I thought you watched Tales of Vesperia. Wait. Check my channel for what? Tales of Vesperia? Because you watched that, didn't you? Or do you mean Tales of Destiny? I did Tales of Destiny like 2 years ago, I think. Still never figured out what Tales you played on PSP? Well, there can't be that many. I will give you a spoiler, a slight spoiler, for future LPs. Tales of Berseria comes out. The Tales of Berseria remaster comes out in February, and I'm planning to play that. You sort of remember Vesperia, but you have 0 memory of Destiny? That's fine. I had very little memory of Destiny when I played it, too. Stock up on gels. Gummy candy. I haven't had any gummy candy in a while. I should get some. No, it was not streamed. That was an LP. You may have missed it, but you may have also just forgotten about it. That's okay. I wouldn't say it's forgettable per se, but I mean, I did. I didn't forget that it existed and stuff. I just forgot like everything about it. Other than okay, so the one thing that I remembered before getting back into that LP was the Bloody Rose attack from one of the characters whose name I'm blanking on right now. Which is a great attack. Would pickle-flavored gummies exist? No. No, they would not. That is heresy. Yes, Velvet. Wait. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I have been extremely tired lately, especially later in the day. My brain has not been working so well, so I'm going to stop answering things like that now because I think I'm forgetting things. I'm making mistakes. Okay, there we go. And that. And we get a 1x6 there. No. Destiny is reasonably concise. There we go, get that there. Alright. Spare parts. Gray 1x1 tile. Gray 1x1 cylinder plate. And I think medium nougat 1x1 plate. Bag number 2. Is it possible to make the TOS Enterprise? Yes. I mean, there is a guy out there who makes like tons of other sets into the Millennium Falcon. So, yes. Howdy, Shield of Hope. How's it going? Like, there's a couple other pieces that are being used, but I'm not seeing where they are. There they are. I mean, it's Lego, you know? Like, can you make one thing into other things? Yes. The question is always going to be how accurate is it, and you know what concessions do you have to make to do it? So. I'm sure there will be some instructions on, like, rebrickable for turning this into a Constitution class. Well, I mean, like, the guy who turns like the Creator 3-in-1 Flamingo into the Millennium Falcon. It's got a degree of accuracy, but not the degree of accuracy that you would expect from an official model in those colors. But again, considering it's not an official model, he's using just the parts from the set, it's like, it still looks pretty darn good for that. So it's really just a question of what concessions are you willing to live with to turn this into a Constitution class. You saw a post where someone turned the Millennium Falcon into the Enterprise? Yeah, I mean, like, again, the same guy could probably do, all of those same sets into an Enterprise. And it's actually, like, I'd say that it's a little bit easier to do with the smaller sets, like those Creator 3-in-1s and stuff, just because you have a much more limited number of pieces available to you. So ultimately, it's just a question of, what do you want it to look like? I mean, you could turn this into Optimus Prime. The colors would be wrong, but you could do that. It probably wouldn't transform, but if you're really clever, it might. That's just the nature of Lego. Alright, we got lots of inverted arches here. You want it to be a Buck Rogers bust? But which Buck Rogers? Obviously. Obviously. You mean the SSI Buck Rogers. Obviously. Turns a Lego set into a ham sandwich. Well, wouldn't exactly be edible. Alright, there we go. We got lots of arches there. Everything is edible once. Technically, no. The real question, Nadaroge AI, would you want a bust of Tweaky? There is actually a World Cup set coming out, a World Cup trophy, which I think is mostly brushed gold and gold, the pearl gold. That you could probably do. That could probably turn into Tweaky. A bust of Tweaky. How are you talking about Buck Rogers and you don't know Tweaky? Are you not a man of culture? You didn't catch the last bit of that sentence? Excuses, excuses. That's what they all say. You turn that Bumblebee, World Cup into Bumblebee? No, you turn it into a Tweaky. It's like you guys aren't fans of Tweaky or something. Twiki, I believe. He's from the Buck Rogers TV show. BD, what's up, Buck? Man, I need more cultural people around here. That's clearly what I need. Voiced by Mel Blanc, indeed. If it's not a Dinobot, then you don't care? We're talking about Tweaky, though. More cultured than the average cookie? That's probably true, actually. Probably. Alright. Bag number 3 time. Your hot cocoa must wait to be safely consumed. Just live dangerously. I think I must have seen Buck Rogers when I was a kid or something, because I have this weird fondness for it. I think it must have been on reruns or something when I was a kid. Because I'm not that old. Already burned your tongue once, must learn patience? Tell your tongue not to get burned, jeez. Am I though? No, I'm not. Alright, flip it around. One by one cylinder plates with hollow studs. That's true, it did. 2 secondary shuttle bays are located in the ship's neck, which is part of the secondary hull. The starboard bay is larger. Of course, I am most familiar with the story of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, the TSR role-playing game. So, shocking, I know. Shocking, I know. It's almost like I've played both those games. I need to delve through the actual game books, especially the adventures. I've never actually had an opportunity to do so. Oh, there it is. Buck Rogers did not kill TSR. Anyone saying that does not know what they're talking about. Not going to say that it was a wise decision to do that, but it did not kill TSR. Right, there we go. So we got our secondary shuttle bay there, the smaller one. Oops. Pair of these. Wonder what TSR-3E would have looked like. It's very possible that it would have looked very similar, because a lot of the same people did work on it. I would like to think it would be closer to 2E, though. But that could just be wish casting on my part. If it had been like 2E and just fixed things, I would not have hated it. There are plenty of things that could have been fixed in 2nd edition. Okay, so this goes right here. There we go. So we have that shuttle bay there. And there we go. Angle brick there. 1 by 2 plate, 1 by 1 plate. Okay, double pair of corner plates. Almost like people get inspiration from the media they consume or something. Yeah, no. Weird, huh? So weird. In one of the Discords that I'm in, people were talking about, like, things that are like anime in D&D, or people wanting anime in their D&D, and it's like, yeah, because a lot of people watch anime. It's one of the things that inspires them. Nope, not that. I want that. And a 1x2 slope. But no, there's all kinds of things that I would change with an AD&D 3rd edition. The silliness with druids. That's one thing that I would change. Because it really could use some big changes there. They preserved too much from 1st edition. Yeah, maybe. But they didn't. Like, the whole battling in order to level up at higher levels is very, very, very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. Alright, there we go. That goes on right there. Alright, 4x6. Get some ball joints. Yeah, it really wasn't that long ago, Hello Bunny. Okay, get that in there. I mean, things happen, you know. You get busy, you know, you might have not been ready to watch it when the first episodes came out, and then didn't want to jump in until later, and then forgot about it, something like that. I don't know. It happens. Alright, yellow side studs. Dark gray side studs, and beige. There's beige. There we go. Get that there. 2x4 tiles. Well, it's also entirely possible that nothing stuck with you, Well Bunny. That does happen on occasion. Guess you'll make a watch of it this week, then? Nice. Was he open on an airship that crashes and Ald plays an orc pugilist? Not an orc, no. does open up on an airship, and the airship does crash, though. Right, pair of blue shorty bricks. Where are there? They are. Well, it's kind of a specific trope in anime, to a degree, that you have the very brilliant at swordplay guy who's otherwise a doofus. You get that in Slayers, Gowry. Gowry is 100% the same type of character. But he's also Gowry, so you can't get mad at him. She is most definitely not in the same way, trope-wise. Alright, one by one brick. And one by one plate. Alright, so from that we get two 1x6s. 1x4. Okay, 1x6 tile. And a 1x1 tile. Okay, get that on there. And that goes right there. There we go, and that there. Various slopes. I mean, it's the same trope for the hero of Tales of Destiny. Okay, two slopes going the other way that are half a plate offset. Choose a sandwich that both interests you and makes you raise an eyebrow. Peanut butter and pickle sandwich? No. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Why bring this evil into the world, sir? What is wrong with you? I mean, anime and video games have a long tradition of engaging in tropes, so, you know. You're apparently an evil, evil dragon. That's true, you are. You are. It's terrible. And true. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so that is also a half a plate offset. So these two match up. These do not, though. Aha, I see. I see why they did that. Okay, and then 4 by... Wait a second. Nope. Right there. So basically the lip here is half a plate. So by doing this, by having this section be half a plate higher, you get a smooth transition between these slopes here, the 1x2 tile slopes, and the 2x4 curved slopes. So that's pretty cool. Alright. That goes... I'm extremely confused. Hold on. Oh, I see what I did. Oh wow, I got all that. A whole bunch of this wrong. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So we needed this little gap there. Yes, I did, Lil Bunny. Okay, there we go. Get that there. There we go. All right. Now, so that goes into this little slot right here. And that's what was throwing me off. So I believe that this is going to be the slot for the stand. Right there. Okay, we got an ad that's just about to start, but let's snooze that a little bit. You think Berseria is one you've seen as a playthrough? You're not sure from whom, though. Pretty good story. Its only real flaw was some of the side cutscenes getting a bit too gender-oriented. Yeah, I think Lethal was playing that, but never finished it. With, one of his friends. I can't remember which of his friends. Alright, so spare parts. We got tan 1x1 plate, tan 1x1 tile slope, bright orange 1x1 plate, and dark gray 1x1 cylinder plate with hollow stud. But I really like the main character in that one. Hot cocoa with a dash of mint syrup. Nice. Huh. Not a paper bag in that one. Weird. A demonic claw. Basically. If I remember correctly. And then we have his force field projector. Wesley Crusher, an avid young science prodigy, created the portable tractor beam generator as a science project. Right, the tractor beam projector. Nope, that's not it. There we go. Standard keypad. She's mostly hinged. She's mostly hinged. Yes, it's the Trails games that people keep asking me to play. And there is a recent remake of the first one out that Cressens has been playing, and I think enjoying, that I would like to play as well. So... one day we shall see. Alright, let's go ahead and zoom in. On Wesley, he's got his infamous sweater. The rainbow sweater. Yeah, I have the original of one, but I should probably do the remake just because that's, you know, what's out there now. There we go. More people will probably be interested in seeing that one than the original, I think. I actually tried playing the original back when, like, many, many years ago, and I had a hard time getting into it, so... I'm hoping that the remake will negate that. Alright. So now for some pretty screwy build techniques here. We got 1x2 round end pieces in there. Got a macaroni brick. Another 1x2 with clip. That goes on there. Okay, and a bracket. So this is the start of the the curved section for the nacelles. Oops. Bright orange 1x1 plate there. Tan 1x1 brick here. They're not nacelles, they're nacelles. And even if they were nacelles, it's not necessarily that they are negative. They could just be obsessed with horses. Don't judge. All right, 1x3 plate. Get another those there. Then, of course, when we're all done with this, we have to rig it up with explosives so that we can blow it up in a fiery explosion, perfect for an episode of Star Trek, where everything gets reset afterwards. Yay, time loops. Think the explodium bricks are in another box? Yay, splodies. Okay, 1x6 brick here. Macaroni. 1x2 with clip, 1x2, and 1x2 with clip. There we go. Get that on there. Bunny wants big boom. She likes big booms and she cannot lie. I mean, to be fair, who doesn't? There we go. Now a macaroni tile. Tan 1x2 tile. Four and 1x3. Very enterprising. Oh. But what if instead of that you get an Enderman? Then where will you be? Know what? I mean, you might. Then it's Minecraft trekking. Worse than Ender's Game? I've never read that, so I don't know. Alright, ad is about to start. Oops, I missed the 1x1 right there. Okay. 1x3x2 inverted half arch and a 1x2 tile slope. we go. Okay, so flip it over here. We have a 2x4 there, 2x3 right there, 1x1 right there. Adds ongoing right here. Alright. Let's move these parts to the side so it's a little bit easier for me to grab these things. Chocolate potatoes? I have obviously missed something. Two kids take over the world through internet forums, also make of that what I will. Do we think Elon Musk read that? Being weird again. Well, that's fair. That's a given. That is a given. When is chat not being weird, chat? Never. That's when. Chat lives for being weird. If you weren't being weird, you'd be boring, and that's sad. It's fair. That's fair. All right. Get that right on there. One by two ingot there. Oh, and on the other side. There we go. And we take this and stick it together right there. Now we just need that stuff from Return of the Living Dead, and we could animate this. Like that half dog in Return of the Living Dead. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, lock it together with these plates. Alright. Half distracted and tired. That's fine. Okay, so we have our very large wedge slope here. Get that right on there. Helps to lock it in some more. 2x3 tile. Right there. Chocolate-covered Enterprise. Sounds good right now. It's going to give you some good crunch there, isn't it? Did I miss a 1x1 tile? I miss a 1x1 tile here because I... Oh, no. One of them is printed. My bad. Alright, so spare parts, gray 1x1 tile, gray 1x1 tile with keypad print, gray 1x1 cylinder plate with hollow stud, gray 1x1 quarter cylinder tile, and a clear 1x1 cylinder plate with underclip. Alright. Bag number 5. Actually, let's put this over here. This does look very weird being half of a ship right now, though. Choosing microbes, choose ABS. It's true. Actually, it's not true because I don't think this stuff breaks down very well. Which is probably not a huge surprise. Alright, let's see. Yep, black bracket. Better a ship half than a Ranma 1/2? I mean, some people like Ranma 1/2. I've never actually seen any. Alright, so I think we're doing the other half of the ship right now. No, I know about it. I just never wanted to spend the money on buying it. Yes, that is correct. Okay. I was wondering, like, should this be far back? I never wanted to spend money on it because it was so long, basically. So I have not seen it. Or read the manga. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Oop. Why did my monitor go out? Come back, monitor. There we go. Alright, good. It may be kind of dry in this room. It may be kind of dry in this room. Okay, and 2x4 tiles. That's fair. Not everything is for everyone. Alright, yellow 1x1 brick. There we go. Turn it around. Inverted slope. 1.2 million XP away from 46, needing to stop because eyes are starting to ache. It's gonna happen. That is gonna happen. as long as you're having fun when you're doing it. That's the important thing. What enemies are you fighting to get the XP? The XP you need. The rolling square things that give 4,000 XP? Eh. It's a long haul, but it's a heck of a lot better than 3-digit XP. Maybe I am. Maybe that's what it is. I'm making the plastic gun from In the Line of Fire. I have stayed at the hotel where that of the climax of that movie. Always gotta have fun. I have very frequently had, you know, like building things and like, see, yeah, you can turn it into a little blaster gun right there. I mean, that's a given, not a rogue AI, at this point. I'm old, so old. And yet, being a dragon, I will outlast you all. Now it looks more like a tank cannon. Alright, let's see. Anything else? No. Alright. One by 4 plate, 1 by 4 tile, 1 by 4 plate, 1 by 4 tile. I watched another random Bigfoot movie with a character who was very, very, very clearly, like, the two main characters were supposed to be college students. One of them was very clearly not of the right age. Accidentally? I don't accidentally build anything. Sheesh. Always hilarious when that happens. Bet someone has made a mock of the Southern Cross hover tanks? Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure of it. In fact, if you go back far enough, I probably know them. If it was made in the early 2000s, or mid first decade of the 2000s, I probably know them. Or knew them. I can't think of one offhand, but it would not surprise me. What is college age? College age, I mean, yes, anyone can go to college, but college age is the age that most people go to college, which is, you know, right after high school. So, between 18, 19, and, you know, say 25. I think they tried to like, explain it away by saying that the character had been in Vietnam. But I don't think that quite covered the age gap. The main character was, I think 24. So, reasonable college age, depending on what part of college he's in. Like, you know. Obviously not a freshman, probably in, you know, like this might be graduate school, perhaps. The other guy was 36. And he looked it. It was very, very obvious that he was much older than the other guy. It's not that old, but it's well outside of your common college ages. And I mean, if you're going to riff on things like, you know, stuff in a movie, that is absolutely prime fodder. He was definitely not getting a medical degree. I mean, he was researching Bigfoot, of all things, so... Definitely not getting a medical degree. Sounds like a hippie returning to college after a decade drug binge. Well, I mean, he went to Vietnam, apparently. But that still is not gonna cover that. It really is not, that age difference. And they could have tried to explain it, as in, like, he was out of, he was out for a while doing other things. But they really didn't bother. They really didn't bother. Because it was one of those movies in which they just didn't care. Yes, Lel Bunny, and that means that if they go to college, then they're no longer college-aged. No one's saying that older people can't go to college. It is a very common movie trope, though, of hiring actors who are too old for the young people roles. I think Kinshir, ultimately, they just didn't care. It is one of the most common reasons for not describing why things are the way they are in a movie. They just didn't care. What were the college boys trying to do to Bigfoot? Not trying to do anything to him, just trying to prove his existence. So in standard Bigfoot movie fashion, they go to a place where sightings had occurred and try to find proof. And they found proof, and he almost murdered them. Although the movie definitely pulled its punches there at the end. Like, it was very much supposed to be a horror movie, and it really wasn't. Missed a few plates. Like, the ending was not too bad. It was reasonably, for like a 1976 movie or whenever it was. You know, a cheapo 1970s horror movie. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I'll give it some credit there. But it took way too long getting to that point. Way too long getting to that point. Do they care more for the people who made a horror movie about frogs killing people and not even mutated frogs, just regular frogs? Yeah, but see, that at least had Sam Elliott in it without a mustache, which is its own special wonderfulness. Also, I realized that I had never actually seen Sam Elliott young. Which is also its own specialness. There are labor laws and kids acting. Yes, that doesn't apply to 24-year-olds. I know, Lord Canis. It was a shock to me, too. It's true, though. You should check out Frogs. It's not good. And absolutely the wrong people died. But it's an interesting time capsule. One by one tile. Have I... I have put a wrong tile in there. There we go. That should be that. There we go. I think the one Bigfoot movie you liked, there was a guy who was bound to a wheelchair dealing with Bigfoot after going after people in the cabin next to his before he has to save himself and a person from the other cabin. Well, I've definitely not seen that. The movie Frogs has Ray Millard, I think his name is. Reasonably successful real actor. As the patriarch of a family, playing the small town mayor role of, it doesn't matter what is going on, we will continue with this thing, and the thing was his own birthday celebration. So not even like a, you know, we need to get this money or we will all collapse. You know, our town will collapse, our town will run out of money, or our business will go under, or anything like that. No, he just wanted his damn birthday. And nothing was going to stop that. He just wanted his birthday. Plenty of shots of people sitting or laying while a bunch of tiny frogs walk on them. Yeah. I mean, not exactly tiny. They were like this big. But, you know, they were not exactly a huge threat, no. But at the same time, it was like the frogs were obviously the generals of an army of animals kind of thing, which in and of itself is hilarious. But of course, the lovely false advertising of showing a poster with a giant frog on it, that's what gets you. That's what gets you. Abominable, it has Matt McCoy, Haley Joel, and Christian Tinsley in it. I think that might be on Tubi. I'll try to check that out. I will try to check that out. I've watched at least 2 movies in the last couple days with Bo Svensson in it, which is... it's a lot of Bo Svensson. Not entirely sure that anyone should watch that much Bo Svensson in a short period of time. And one of them was an Abominable Snowman movie as well. Felt like it was made for TV as well, because when people died, the screen just went red. No Wizards of the Lost King? Well, I mean, you know. Bo Svensson. I think it's Svensson. He's just an actor. S-V-E-N. Yeah, Lord Kane has got it. He's not a bad actor. He's just... there's an oddness about his look that... amuses me. I'm mostly being facetious about too much Bo Svensson. Alright, and then we get the other shuttle bay. The other movie I watched with him was Virus, a Japanese-American co-production, which is bizarre. Really bizarre. I understand why it didn't do so well. Didn't help that the version on Tubi does not have subtitles for the Japanese speech. There are at least 2 movies with that title. The 1981, that's a Japanese-American co-production. Or at least it has a lot of American actors in it. Like George Kennedy. Can't go wrong with George Kennedy. Get Lego Bigfoot out so they can be a Sasquatch on the Enterprise? I'd have to go find him. Was that the one with the alien energy virus thingy? No. No. You might be thinking of Life Force. No, Virus is just an American weapon gets out specifically because people are incredibly stupid. In that the U.S. is developing it, and then someone steals it specifically to get it to a scientist to find a cure, but then the people betray them you know, the criminal element who has been hired to deliver it. They were going to betray him anyway, but he got shot by security forces, and the plane goes down in the Swiss Alps. It does, that's true. So then it gets out, but it, like... So it's completely dormant below, like, basically below zero. So it goes down in the Swiss Alps, but then come the spring thaw, it starts going around like a flu, and it kills basically everyone, with the exception of people who are at the Antarctic research bases. But there is a mad general in the U.S. military, played by Henry Silva. Henry Silva? I think it's Henry Silva. Who does mad great. He does a good job with that. Oh, and it has Robert Vaughn as a senator. Again, can't go wrong with Robert Vaughn. But just before the Henry Silva dies, he turns on an automatic nuclear deterrent system that if it detects a launch, it will automatically launch nuclear weapons. Because he's insane, and he thinks that, you know, the weapon is a, you know, like a Russian weapon, despite the fact that he's the one that kept the scientist working on the cure for the disease from letting anyone know about it or something like that. And then an earthquake hits DC, a really big one, while they're all down in Antarctica. Or it's going to. Like one of the scientists down there has been playing around with predicting earthquakes, and it just so happens that he can predict earthquakes now. But they don't get there in time. The earthquake hits, all the missiles launch, and of course, then all of the Russian missiles launch, even though literally everyone is dead. And because the Russians thought that the U.S. put a missile base in McMurdo Research Facility, most of the people in the Antarctic are killed as well. So it's a very weird movie because it's like, there is some hope, but the hope is literally, yay! There's about a dozen people who survive all of this. How does an earthquake set off a missile launch? Basically, the system just thinks that the strength of the earthquake is a hit from a missile. Because it's like an 8.0 in DC. Are they all guys? No. So they realized that the missiles could hit the American research base down there. So they send all the 8 women, the whole whopping 8 women and a few other people with an experimental vaccine off on an icebreaker. So they're the only ones who survive, as well as the one guy who got to the DC missile base just as the earthquake hit and the missiles all launched. He finds them like 4 years later. Somehow wandering from DC to wherever they are. It's a very bizarre movie. Definitely needed some script editing. Well, okay, so all of the women were pregnant when they escaped. Because they understood that they needed to repopulate the human race. 8 women actually probably is enough. Oh, so he had taken the experimental vaccine as well. But they had no, like, at that point, they had no idea if it was going to work. The bigger thing is, how did he not die from all the radiation of all of the nuclear bombs? That's the bigger question. How many survivors were Japanese? None of the women were. I don't think any of the men at the very end, other than the one main character, was. Oh, also, I should note that not only did this virus attack all humans, it attacked all vertebrate life. So every single animal everywhere died. There's one shot of fish floating dead in an aquarium that I think is there to indicate that the aquarium fish are also vulnerable. Okay, where did I put a 1x1 plate? That. Oh, that's correct. I should have an orange 1x1 plate. No, you can repopulate. I mean, you're always going to have, like, it's going to lead to genetic issues, yes. But, that's correct. It is possible. There is some evidence that there was a bottleneck in human history as well. Okay. Well, that's why they give you extras. Yeah, there will be a genetic bottleneck, but, so there were plenty of men. I think they had like 120 men or something like that. Only the 8 women. Which, yeah, I mean, that it's gonna be an issue genetically, but not as much as you might think. But yeah, so like, the fish were dead in the aquarium before all the humans had died in a hospital. So I think the idea is that the virus got into the water and killed them, which bodes very poorly for all of the fish in the sea, all of the sea life. I guess you got a situation of literally forced vegetarianism. It's very weird. Like, that to me is a much bigger issue than anything else. Planet of the Ants. But, I mean, it would take so long for other animals to actually evolve. And, of course, there should be some natural immunity out there. That reminds you, looks at the Shofixty. The Shofixty have an even bigger problem, given that there were only 2 men and 8 women. It would be less of an issue for the Shofixti, though, because they would have modern medicine to draw upon, whereas none of these humans that survived virus do. Hopefully the Umga can put aside their sense of humor to help avoid the bottleneck. I don't know. I think they might find it amusing. Yeah, technically. The question is whether it would be able to do so in the time frame required, though. But a lot of that would be just kind of natural mutation and stuff like that. Someone is going to have a natural mutation that helps them take care, helps them fend that off. Or there's going to be something like sickle cell anemia isn't affected by it, or something like that. Alright, spare parts, a tan 1x1 plate, which may have been in the plate. Actually, you know what? Maybe that's it. Hold on. No, that couldn't. Well, hold on. Because that might be exposed. Yep, that is it. That is where it was. I missed that when I was looking back. There we go. Alright. I had a feeling that I just put it in the wrong place. The Shofixti were known for being very prolific, yes. And that might actually mean that they are very prone to genetic mutations as well. Which would do a lot to help out with a bottleneck. Okay. There we go. Who are the Shofixti? A race in Star Control 2. Yeah, sickle cell anemia is bad if you are not facing malaria, but it's good if you're facing malaria. Alright, bag number 7. Well, that wouldn't cause the Black Plague to pass over entire towns. Usually the Black Plague would pass over an entire town, just because they may have had some little native, local tradition that helped deal with it. Like, maybe they didn't kill the cats, kind of thing. Like, people could be passed over, but a whole town would very unlikely to be passed over because of natural immunity. You'd have to have a pretty inbred town to have everyone have natural immunity. Had a local tradition of washing our hands and quarantining the sick in a shed. But yeah, I mean, not everyone who contracted bubonic plague died from it. Some people would fight it off. Some people just get lucky that they wouldn't catch it. I mean, when I got COVID, I got it from my niece, and I was dry. The main reason that I caught it is because I drove her to her mother's house, an hour away. But she spent 15 minutes talking to my mother before that, like sitting practically right next to her in the same room. My mother didn't get COVID, so sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes you just get lucky. Some people would remember to build hospitals in their counties. Yeah, except sometimes you'll do that, and then it's like, oh yeah, look, I'm going months and months without getting the Black Plague here. This is great. I'm so glad that I fully upgraded my hospital. I'm so glad. Oh. It got in literally as everything else was going away. Well, that's just rude. That happened one time where it really was just... like, it was all clearing up, and at the very last second, it spread into my county. I was not happy. I was not happy. Stupid bubonic plague. It's so rude. Crusader Kings 2 could be very rude sometimes. Yeah, but they wouldn't necessarily know to isolate people who got sick with the plague. Until germ theory, they didn't really have a good concept of what they could do to prevent the spread of disease. That's just armadillo propaganda to prevent people from eating them. Not a rogue AI. Just armadillo propaganda. They just don't want people to eat their delicious, delicious innards. Alright, let's see. 1x4. How do you do, Darkwood? How's it going? So dragon meat being poisonous is also propaganda? No, that's true. That's very, very true. Even have 2 dedicated crushers? That's true, I do. The good one and the bad one. In your last CK2 game, you had like 4 counties in your realm that had Black Death exclusion benefits. Nice. Which is which? If you're asking, you need to go to jail. Which is which? I had a crush on Gates McFadden when I was a kid. In case that, you know, leaves any doubt which one I think is the good one. Easily, Lord Canis. Easily. There's a reason Pulaski was only in 1 season. She wasn't a bad character, but compared to Gates McFadden, Beverly Crusher, it's no comparison. Let's move all these over here. Ad incoming, no, 7 minutes. In fact, I can snooze that for a little bit. I don't even have a candle. Dang it. I have candles. Goes back to designing his everyone starts off dead campaign. Well, that's really quick way to end your campaign. Someone on Reddit was talking about a dual class campaign where everyone starts out at level 20, dual classed into a new class at level 1. And most people were properly like, no, that's pretty dumb, actually. It would be very easy to manipulate that. Alright. Get those there. Waking up dead is a bad start to your day. That's true. But it would allow you to do the freeze frame. I'm sure you're all wondering how I got here. Okay, yep, that's it. All right. Next up, we get our long wedge slope. Get the 1x4 tile in there. 2x3 there. 6x1. Oops. It goes right there. And 1x1 tile. There we go. Alright, so now we do 4L axles here. Just last night you finished this? Nice. I think it'll probably take us 3 or 4 sessions. Okay, get these two together. And we put... Okay, these can actually go in afterwards, I think. Okay. So, axle it together. Get that in there. That goes down. All right. There we go. And I think there's going to be one on the underside. Yes. Okay. There we go. All right. Pretty solidly locked in. Spare parts. We got 1x1 plates in tan, bright orange, and a 1x1 tile in gray. And I think we will do one more bag for tonight. Bag number 8. Back there. There we go. All right. Okay, start out. Let's go ahead and put those to the side and those to the side. But we are going to start with one of these. All right. Okay, bunch of half arches. Yeah, I saw the error. I pointed that out. There is you can get a replacement from Lego customer service, and I will at some point. Oops. 1x3 over here. Alright, we got 4x4 double-angled slope. Everyone dies, but they come back as revenants to hunt down their killer. Yeah, but then when they're done, then they have to die again. There's no continuation to a campaign. Was your next question if they would have a fixed version? Yeah, so I don't know if it'll be the whole sticker sheet, but you can, like, whatever it is, it's probably going to be the whole sticker sheet, though, because they're gonna be replacing like future runs with the sticker sheet. Like they're gonna be replacing the sticker sheet in future runs. So I imagine that they're just gonna send you the whole sticker sheet. Yes, alright. We're getting that. 2x2. Okay, that's that. That goes. Okay, I think I would have liked it if they had crossed this with some plates down here. Because there is a little gap there. And it feels a little loose. Alright, let's make the mirrored one. As our cockroach tacos, huh? Well, it sounded like they took it offline today rather than last night, Bahamut. 90 minutes is a lot. That is a long time. That makes me think it's line maintenance, not like just hardware equipment maintenance. Wonders how much he's gonna have to unbuild to get to the plaque tile. Oh, it's inside. Oh, that's I did not know that. I may not bother then. I don't know. If it's not visible, I don't know that I care. Noticed at 8:30-ish p.m. last night. Yeah, I would consider 8:30 p.m. to be during the day for an internet service provider. That sounds like emergency maintenance. Which, you know, I mean, sometimes it has to happen. Yeah, it should already be available. Oops. That doesn't go there. That goes there. I mean, I haven't ordered it myself, but it should be available. This is Wednesday, Friday. And we do have an ad just about to start. I'm going to try to do everything Wednesday, Friday now. If I finish early, like if I finish this next Wednesday, then Friday I will do, you know, some small builds as opposed to starting on a large thing. But I have a lot of large things that I need to get built. So it's probably a good idea to do more multi-stream builds to get them taken care of, get them off my agenda, so to speak. Go. All right. They said they're doing maintenance and hoping to do upgrades to better internet connections, and there were people complaining that they've been promised better internet for 20 years. Yeah, American companies suck that way. Internet service here in the U.S. is not great, and especially in rural areas, it really needs some big improvements. There was even major efforts to get rural internet, and then that got killed. Because of course it did. In part because Elon Musk wants them all to use Starlink. Alright, 6 curved slopes. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I really don't. It's not much of a... It's not that big of a deal to me. Like, even though I'm putting stickers on this, I'm probably not going to keep it together forever. But if I'm putting stickers on it, it does mean that I'm planning to keep it together for at least a few years, so... Okay. And this goes on right here. Has great customer service with nice people. Dad asked about getting a newer, better modem, and they were like, it costs unless the modem you have is defective or no longer works. We're like, it's been around 20 years. Yeah, see, like, that's the thing, is like, if you don't own, like, do you own the modem? Or do you rent it? Because if you rent it, you should definitely be able to get replacements periodically. Well, right, but do you rent it from them, or did you have to buy it from them? Is there a monthly charge on your bill for it? Yeah, definitely good progress so far. I'm thinking that it might be 3 sessions, but we'll see. Some of it depends on how complex other parts end up being. How fiddly they are, that sort of thing. I understand that. And some of that is going to come, like, I mean... Some of that is still going to be individual company thing, and there's an element of... It should be this way, even though it's not this way, because the company doesn't want to do it that way. Yeah, there's a little bit too much flex there. And I'm not a big fan of. Like, I think that we should have, like, put in a... Like, 2 1x6s and a 2x6 and a 2x4 there kind of thing. Like, leave these off until that. And 2 2x4s here. And that's really all it would need. I may end up doing something like that, just to give it a little bit less flex there. Some of it will probably go away, because it does look like we're going to be putting some things on here that might lock it together. Okay, get that on. All right. So, bag number 9 is where we're going to be starting next time. But yeah, like, can't exactly hold it and whoosh it. Maybe once the stand is in, you can hold the stand. But yeah, good progress so far. It kind of makes me want a Voyager version, like of the it scaled to this size, a Voyager. I think that would be pretty cool. But right now, you can hold it like this and whoosh it. Whooshability is always an important element of any kind of spaceship model. Can you swoosh it around? Can you whoosh it around? And if you're playing Dragon Quest, can you swoosh it around? Let's see. Oh, hey. It stands up pretty well right now that way, too. It's not going to for long, though, but... I have not looked at the model the show model very closely recently, so I'm not sure what all of the tan is. Current design reminds you of the Voyager shuttle, not sure why. See, it kind of reminds me of Voyager itself for some reason. It's an odd-looking gun. Yeah, there you go. See? Goes right over your arm. It's designed for someone with a little bit larger arms than I. Proper pew-pew. Yeah, you can't... yeah, it's got to be this way. It's got to be this way. This actually feels decent. This actually feels decent. Whereas you can't hold it like that. Hard to hold it like this. And you can't really hold it like that. But this feels good. All right. Let's go ahead and set that aside for now. Because we have some advent calendar, some Minecraft advent calendaring to do. All right, so we left off, I think we left off on 5, yes. So 6. It is the 10th. So we're going to do 6, 7, let's see. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, and 9, I think, is what we'll do. And then 10, 11, 12 on Friday. So let's see what we got behind door number 6. All right, we got a snow golem. Yeah, it would definitely be fantastic to get more ships. I very much wonder what LEGO's price point will be. I mean, they've done all kinds of niche stuff for Star Wars, but at the same time, they're also aiming most of those sets at kids. And I'm wondering if the Star Trek market will match the Star Wars market, you know? I don't know. But I hope it does well. Well, I think it's safe to say that the Enterprise is going to do extremely well. But I hope the line does well enough. Like, I hope they actually do produce some more variety of ship models and stuff like that. Alright, there's our snow golem. Spare parts, a 1x1 tile in white. So that was 6. Let's go for 7 down here. Alright. We have a golem of some sort. I think it's not a full-size golem. I think it's like a smaller scale golem here. Feel big ships like this would not be the norm if they expand the sets. I mean, I think they'll try to hit a lot of different price points. But if the line does well, I feel like they've got to do a Deep Space Nine. A big Deep Space Nine set. Some of it will definitely depend on whether they do, like, minifig scale, like sets aimed at kids. That is a question that I think we need to, like, you know, really... Like, I think that will determine a lot about what they end up making. Because if they do that, then I think that you might get some things like runabouts and stuff like that. But I'm not sure that Star Trek, like, appeals well enough to kids these days for that. I mean, a Quark's bar would be a great set, actually. Alright, spare parts. We got a green 1x1 tile, a white 1x1 tile, and a beige 1x1 plate with our golem. I'm not sure exactly what kind of golem this is supposed to be. So that's 7. So let's do 8. Alright, so we have a kitty and a fishing rod with fish. Like, my guess is that the next set, if they do more sets, the next set will be a Constitution class. I kind of think that that has to be what would be next, you know? But I could see Voyager, I could see DS9. As an adult, no one asks you what your favorite dinosaur is? That's true. Not enough people do that. What is your favorite dinosaur, Kinshir? Yeah, the original series and Next Generation definitely drew in kids. And I would say Deep Space Nine, maybe a little bit older kids, and Voyager did, and probably Enterprise afterwards. I don't know that Star Trek today does. The Star Trek shows they're making today. I feel like the Star Trek shows they're making today are aimed at adults looking to get into Star Trek and Star Trek fans. Alright, spare parts. We've got a bright orange, white 1x1 plates, and a gray 1x1 cylinder plate, as well as a spare brown whip. We have a little kitty. And I'll zoom in on these when we're all done. With a fishing rod. No, Picard was definitely not aimed at kids. Picard was aimed at adults who grew up with Next Generation. And they botched it for the first 2 seasons, so. Alright. Our final advent for the night is number 9. Compsognathus. Good choice, good choice. Hey, there's nothing to feel bad about Nadaroge. I like in the classics. It's not like we're talking about, you know, baseball and liking the Yankees. Specifically liking the Yankees when you're not a New York resident. All right, and he has a diamond helmet. And I think this is an enchanting table. Not sure exactly what he's supposed to be holding. Okay, an enchanting table with a book. So we have an extra dark blue 1x1 cylinder tile with something printed on it. I'm not sure what. I'll zoom in a second. All right, so those are what we got. Let's go ahead and zoom in on them. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. All right. So we have an enchanting table, a sweater with a snow golem, and I have no idea what that is supposed to be printed. Bahamut, what is that supposed to be? Do you think? You are the Minecraft expert here. Your dad's team was the LA Dodgers. He never lived in LA, but their games came on when he could watch them. I mean, you know, I mean that's fair. The joke about the Yankees and liking the Yankees when you're not from New York or living in New York is that you just want a team that wins. Ender Pearl? Yeah, maybe. All right, and then we have our kitty. Look at that little kitty face. And our fishing rod. Our golem of some sort. And our snow golem. Kitty! Indeed. So those are our advent calendars. We'll go ahead and slip these back into their little compartments. There we go. So they stay in there. We'll pull them all out at the end of the month. Okay, and before we wrap up, we will do one minifig set. Get my pen out. Get our sheet out. We've got Series 13. Okay. So, a D6 to choose our column. 3, so we're going into the middle. And I think I still need a D20 for this. 3. 1, 2, and a 3. Alright. Let's start a prediction. Can all guess what is inside the minifig pack? Get your predictions in. Alright, let's see. 4. So my die is predicting a Snake Charmer. Alright, get your predictions in. Rolled a d20 a few times, and 1 kept showing up, so 1. Alright, that is a happy king. 3 for Not a Rogue AI, that would be the unicorn. Alright, get your predictions in. Tonight's lone guess is a Minotaur Spaceship Furnishings installer. See, this is swooshable. Very easily swooshable. I'll have to get Jordy and put him in as well. She sits so far back there. Alright, 20 seconds remaining. Get your predictions in. Can I guess what is inside the minifig pack? I suppose I should actually get my timer set up. I would love a GIF minifigs. Even if they were just standard minifig size. You know, being that they should be taller, but then 5th edition decided to make them not taller because... Not bigger, I should say, because, oops, knocked something over. That's going to happen. Alright, predictions are closed. Alright. And... go. Let's see, what do we got? What do we have? That is a torso. That is a dress slope. Alright, so, that is going to be 8.38. We have another Ming the Merciless. Oops. Need the cape. And that is indeed what we have found. Alright, let me mark that off. Then I will complete the prediction. So that is our 4th one. Choose the outcome. Choose the alts. Choose within 20 seconds. Complete that prediction. Who is getting all of the hams? Anytime, computer. Kinshir and Bahamut getting all the hams. Lord Canis going for 20 to 50. No one going for 50 to 60. I got a sandbag one of these days. And Lel Bunny going for no. I really got a sandbag. Even if taller, were they taller enough to be larger than a minifig? They're extremely bulky. I don't know how that would translate to a minifig, but it kind of should. They were extremely bulky. I mean, they're a good 8 feet tall. Like, I would say that the best use, like the best part use would be like the Hagrid type figure. Like, that's what I would do with a GIF head. If I had, like, unlimited resources kind of thing. Alright, Bahamut, have a good rest of your night. That's fair. The Hagrid-style figure has changed a few times over the years as well. Considering that they have had that license for 25 years now. Oops, actually, that should be there. There are LEGO fans, there are adult LEGO fans who've never known LEGO to not have Star Wars and Harry Potter, which is a little bit weird. All right, so Ming the Merciless, which is a great figure. I love the dark red and the outfit, and of course, seeing this decoration just makes me want Manos: The Hands of Fate. All right, but that is going to wrap us up for tonight. We got our shuttlecraft. We got much of the body done on the Enterprise. And I think it'll take a total of 3 sessions. Manos Lego set with Torgo figure? Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great. They could even properly do the Torgo legs. But we are going to wrap it up tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming on out. We will be back on Friday to continue our Enterprise build, which I suspect will go to next Wednesday, which next Wednesday I may have to postpone the session for. There is stuff going on that may prevent me from streaming. Not sure yet. I won't really know until, like, probably the night of. So, we shall see. But the idea is to continue it then. But we will be back on, like I said, Friday for more of this. We'll be back on Saturday for some more Spelljammer. We'll be back on Monday for more Dragon Quest II. And I want to thank you guys for coming on out. And I shall see you next time. Have a good night, everyone.